be honest with you, I wasn't sure how it would go, but I'm glad to see that 16 people have signed up. So what that tells me is that we're all feeling a little isolated, and we would probably like to maybe hiss and moan a little bit. But Katie has a nice presentation for us, and I'm sure that we're all going through about the same challenges with wearing masks and things. I ordered, before this even happened, I ordered these Clearview masks. They're from Safe and Clear, and it took about 2 months to get them. The backlog right now is till August, but I did buy them, and I'm willing to send them to anybody that wants one. Of course, I have to touch it to put it in the envelope, so I don't know how you feel about that. But they're not for you to wear. They are for a friend or someone else to wear. So if you would like one and you want to try it out to see how it works, please email me and I'll make sure and get one to you. I need your address, and I'll get it out to you next week. Katie Wright, Katie, raise your hand. Katie Wright is the president of the HLAA, the HLA organization in California. And Tony Berrien, raise your hand, Tone. She is the Southern California state coordinator. And these ladies are genius when it comes to computer stuff. But right now I want to make sure that everybody can hear and that you're getting captioning. So if you're not getting captioning and can't hear, please unmute yourself and let us know. Okay, it looks like you can all hear. Katie, if you're ready to do your presentation, I'm going to ask everybody to mute themselves and you can go ahead. Is that okay?
Good by me.
Okay.
Hi, everybody. I suggest that you go up to my picture and you'll see a little blue box with 3 dots in it. If you click on that box, you have a drop-down menu and you can go down to pin video. And that way you'll only see me while I'm doing my presentation. Because otherwise, if there's background noise, you know how if you have Zoomed before, sometimes the screen will change and flip to somebody else. So I suggest you pin my video and then we can get started. This is the first time that we have used, well, hang on, I just messed something up. Okay, this is my first virtual presentation. I've done lots of hearing assistive technology presentations, but it's the first one that I've done totally online. So if we make mistakes on the way, bear with me, we'll get through this. We're bound to have glitches. What we discovered just last week, Tony and I have been spending a lot of time on trying to get things ready to help the chapters in California. And we discovered PowerPoint, how PowerPoint actually has subtitles built into it. So we are using PowerPoint subtitles. And it's kind of changed the look of my Zoom screens, and I'm not really used to it. So bear with me. So here we go. So doorbells, TVs, and masks. Oh my. And I chose to use the Wizard of Oz because of the lions and tigers and bears. Oh my. Because doorbells and TVs and masks, they are the bane of my life right now. I'm really struggling. And I know you guys are probably struggling also. Let me tell you how, first of all, how I got started with this. My husband passed away in 2015. And when he passed, I lost my nighttime ears. I also lost my going to the bank ears and my talking to the clerk at the store ears. And I know you know what that's like. So I also found that I had a lot more time on my hands. So I got more involved with hearing assistive technology. My chapter, Long Beach Lakewood, has a HAT, HAT, Hearing Assistive Technology Committee. And we actually do demos. Well, we used to do demos once a month. We've gone to every other month, and now, of course, they're all canceled for a while. So this is how I got involved with hearing assistive technology. So what's happening now is that we are ordering deliveries more. How many of you guys are ordering deliveries? Amazon, Instacart, or you're having people bring you groceries or bring you things. It's really hard. I still go to the store occasionally, but I wear my gloves and I wear my mask and I'm just paranoid the whole time. I am definitely watching more TV. I hate to say it, I'm not as active as I used to be, and my body is feeling it. And I'm watching more TV, and I'm not really aware of how loud it is until my grandsons pop in and go, ah, turn it down or mute it. And I have to keep checking the volume because I don't know how loud my TV is. And if you live with somebody, you probably get that all the time. Your TV's too loud. Tony, are you still with us? I can't let anybody in. I think somebody came in. And masks. Ugh, masks. I need to see lips. If you don't have, if the person that you're talking to doesn't have one of the open things, in fact, at the store the other day, I was talking to the cashier and I was probably talking too loud. And the customer behind her in the other aisle turned around because I needed them to order something special. And he heard me and he turned around to tell me what I could use instead. And I had to say, I'm sorry, you're going to have to pull your mouse down. I can't hear you. I felt bad doing it, but I had to. There's no way. I can understand him. So at the end, I'm going to show you 3 specific devices that I think will help us get through TV, doorbell, and talking in personal conversations with people. And I have them, I'm going to show them to you. If we were meeting in person, you could actually touch them. I don't know, has that all changed? My attitude about touching things has really changed. Wow. So, me. I am a hearing assistive technology trainer with HLAA with the NCHAT program. It's the National Consumer Hearing Assistive Technology Trainer Program. Ridiculous name, but that's me. We did a year-long training, and there's been 7 cohorts that have gone through this. So there's a couple of us here in Southern California. I am hard of hearing. I have a genetic loss. My loss is severe to profound. My right ear is severe and my left ear is now profound. My hearing aids are still working. I haven't I don't have the need to go down the cochlear implant track yet. Hopefully I won't have to. My grandson has inherited my hearing loss. He's 11 now. He's been wearing hearing aids since kindergarten. He loves his Dodger blue hearing aids. I'm a retired teacher. I taught for 38 years. It got more and more difficult as my hearing got worse and worse. I'm the past president of HLAA Long Beach Lakewood chapter. I'm the current president of HLAA California. And I am the late deafened representative and chair for the California Phones Program, the administrative committee. Raise your hand if you know what CTAP is or you know about California phones. It's when you get the free phones from the state of California. Anybody know about that? Tony does. We may need to do a CTAP. Noni, maybe we could do a CTAP thing for September. Maybe that's what we can do for September. They just did a great presentation for Tony. So just before I get into the devices, quickly, why do we need assistive technology? We spent thousands on our hearing aids. Why do we need assistive technology? Because our hearing aids and cochlear implants only work best in the 6 to 8 foot range. Now, if we were meeting in person, I would have you do a fist bump with the person next to you, and that would be the 6 to 8 foot range that your hearing aids would work in. Even if you spent $10,000, $6,000 on your hearing aids, it's 6 to 8 feet. And you all know about background noise. You know that when you're in a noisy situation, you can't hear very well. Reverberation, I'll go into that, and distance. If you're whatever your distance is from the source, that's also one of the major contributors to not being able to hear well, or for your hearing aids just not to work for you. So we live in a noisy world, a really noisy world, although it's been much quieter lately. I know when we were in the real strict lockdown, I would walk out of my house. There were no cars driving by. It was like there were no planes flying overhead. It was like, this is what the world feels like, hears like. I could actually hear birds. It was amazing. Except when my gardeners show up or my dog barks. Now, reverberation, you notice reverberation when you're in a big empty room. Maybe you go to a restaurant that's very architectural. They have the ducks are showing in the wall and you can see the rafters, and the sound bounces off of all of those hard surfaces. And, oh, I didn't fix my slide. And the millisecond that it takes, that bounces on your wall. Oh, I learned something. Hang on. I have a laser pointer. Look at this. I'm so excited. The sound bounces on the wall and then comes back to your hearing aid. Even that millisecond makes it really, really hard to get a clear sound out of your hearing aid. Very frustrating. And then you know about distance. If you are in one of these situations, it's easy to hear and understand what the person is saying. But as soon as you get into more distance away, it just doesn't work. I'm gonna keep my pointer. My pointer is kind of fun. All right. So there are many, many kinds of alerting devices. There are many different kind of doorbell devices. There are alarm clock devices. I actually use this one. It's very loud. Plus I can plug a light, a bedside light into it. And when my alarm goes off, my light will flash. And that helps wake me up. There are smoke detectors that have a light. And there are phone ringers that light up. At another time, if you want me to come back and talk about some of these things, I'd be glad to do that. There are many face-to-face devices that you can use to help in personal communication. Some of them use FM. This one uses FM, and this one uses FM. FM makes it more expensive. Bluetooth is another connecting that you could use to use a personal device. If you have the new fancy hearing aids, chances are you use Bluetooth to connect to your phone. You can use Bluetooth to connect to your TV with your new hearing aids. My hearing aids are 5 years old, and 5 years ago, I had to choose between having a Bluetooth connection or having a telecoil because it was 5 years ago, and I chose telecoil. Other devices are just pure amplifiers. They're just like a bullhorn. If you've seen, I don't know about you, but maybe it's a function of my watching so much more TV, but Walmart has really been pushing its the hearing aid that you can buy for hundreds, not thousands. And those are any hearing aids that you can buy online right now are purely amplifiers. They amplify every sound that comes into them. They amplify the high tones as well as the low tones. Whereas your hearing aids amplify the frequencies that you need amplified. So this is one reason that people that even spend hundreds to save money on over-the-counter hearing aids, they end up going in the drawer because everything gets amplified. It makes it really hard. Now, TV, there are things you can use to help your TV. Most TVs these days, the speakers are in the back. So the sound that you get out of the TV, it's coming out of the back, it's bouncing on the wall, and then coming to you. It's that reverberation thing. And it's not ideal. It's better than nothing. But that's one reason why you have to have the TV on so loud. There are earphones, headphones that you can get, different kinds. However, I have yet to find headphones that I can wear that don't give me feedback in my hearing aids. It may be because my hearing aids are old. I don't know. But I have yet to be able to do that. And there are all sorts of other devices that can plug into your TV. And if you have telecoils, can use like a hearing loop and help you hear. So there are alert devices you can use. But the three that I want to talk about are your doorbell. Now, I bought this doorbell. I own this doorbell. I own it. I can't go run to my front door and push my button, but when you push the button, the little light will flash, and it flashes for a while. I can do the sound, and you can change. I like this chime because it goes on for a while, and it gets me, it alerts me to it. And it has two. I don't know that it comes with two. I think it only comes with one. And it attaches by your front door. It's wireless. The reason it's called a tabletop is you can carry it with you. If somebody were to come to my front door right now and push my doorbell, this would go off. Oh, I should have had my grandson on standby. That would have been a good thing to do. And another one that we have in our hat demo is like this. And this lights up here. It also makes a sound. I was a bad girl and I didn't do my battery check. So I can't demo this one to you, but this is a strobe light and it does the same thing that the other one does. These are both available at Home Depot. They're both available at Home Depot and they're about $35. So that's not bad. That's not bad at all. This is a TV sound box and it looks like this. It connects, it plugs into your TV. And I don't know if you can see this. It turns on. On the side of it, you can plug in headphones. You can also adjust the tone so that you can get more bass or more treble, depending on what works for you. What's great about this is it will sit, it plugs into your TV, but when you get ready to use it, this stays by your TV. You pick this up and you can put it behind you on the couch. You can put it right here. If you're really bugging somebody you're living with, you can put it right here. You can, if you watch TV in bed at night, like when I try to watch TV in bed at night, I only have one hearing aid in and it's my bad ear because I lay on my right side. So I could use this and be able to hear my TV better. This has great sound. I have a very good friend that went to Costco and bought one of the sound bars to go for her TV. She ended up getting this. She took the sound bar back because this works so well. This also can plug into a laptop or your computer, and it can be a speaker for your laptop or your computer. My grandsons, about a year or so ago, had a camping night outside in their backyard. They had a sheet on the garage wall, and they projected a movie from the laptop on the wall, and the speaker on the laptop wasn't loud enough. So they actually took this, plugged it into the laptop, and they had a speaker outside to go with their movie that they were having their movie night out in the backyard. It was kind of fun. It took me weeks to get this back from them because they used it all the time. My hard of hearing grandson was using it so that the TV in the house doesn't have to be, he has to have the TV louder in order for him to get everything out of it, but it was too loud for the family. So the TV in the family could have it at a regular volume, but he could have this next to him and it could be louder for him. It's a little expensive. It's about $130, but it's pretty versatile and you can use it for a lot of things. I ordered it from Amazon. There's also a company called Harris Communications, and Harris Communications is a catalog that we hand out at our hat demos. The nice thing about Harris is that if you are a HLAA member, you get a discount, 20% discount, I think. But the good thing about Harris is that if you don't like it, they have a 30-day, no questions asked, money back guarantee. So if it doesn't work for you, you can send it back and you get your money back. And that's one of the reasons why we hand out the catalogs. Now, the last thing would be something that you could take with you when you go to the bank, when you go to the store. It's the pocket talker. It looks like this. It can hang around your neck. So you don't have, it can be hands-free. Remember, it's just an amplifier. So it will pick up background noise also. It comes with headphones. And these open headphones don't interfere with my hearing aids. I don't get feedback. Yes, when you go into the store and you wear these, everyone's going to know that you can't hear. You might have to just get over it. The nice thing about this is this pops off. If you can see this, this pops off. It comes with an extension cord, a 12-foot extension cord. plugs in here. At the end of this 12-foot extension cord, the microphone goes in here. It's not cooperating with me. And you could use this, you could actually wipe it off, and you could hand it to somebody, and they could talk right into it for you. So you don't have to hold it like this in their face. You could hand this to them. You could, I have a chapter member who uses it at holiday dinners. The family can pass this around while they're talking, and then she can hear all of the conversation at the table. You can also place it in the middle of the table, but you're picking up a lot, and you know what that's like. So this is the pocket talker. Let me get all of my stuff over here. Okay, so it's more expensive. It's $200, almost $200. It does come with the extension cord. It comes with these little itty bitty headphones that none of us can use, but it comes with headphones also. So let me see. Now we're ready for questions. So Noni, everybody can unmute. And Noni, it'll be up to you for people to ask me questions. I'm going to go back.
Okay. Well, thank you, Katie. That was enlightening. I didn't realize that some of those headphone sets you could wear with your hearing aids. I've always had feedback with them, but you have found some that work.
These are in the Harris catalog. They're about $20, and they do not you do not get feedback because they don't wrap around the ear. So we have found these very useful. In our chapter, we have a supply of FM units that we hand out for our chapter meeting, and we have those headphones attached to all of them.
Got it. Okay, I'm going to open this up for questions if I can figure out. Let me get up here to the gallery view.
Yes.
All righty. Let's open it up for questions. Does anybody have any questions or comments for Katie? You will need to unmute yourself in order to ask a question.
I, Steve, maybe just have one comment. I had actually used reflective noise to my advantage. When I'm in a restaurant, I try to pick a table with two walls corner, and I can hear the person better that's right next to me. So I actually use that to my advantage.
Very smart, very smart. Or sitting at, some of the restaurants have really high backed booths, and you can do that also. Yes, good thinking. Anybody have questions, comments?
I usually try to put myself against, if there's a window, I usually put myself against the window so that the person I need to hear isn't against the window. And that seems to work pretty good too.
The other good thing about the window is with your back to the window, the light is shining on the people that you're trying to watch, you're trying to hear. So you can see their faces because we depend on faces.
I have one question, Steve, maybe also. One technological device I've been trying to find is one that works in theaters. In other words, connecting to their system. And, you know, they use the not N95, the 95.7 megahertz system to communicate directly to my hearing aids, rather than using the headsets that they give you, which don't satisfy me because they're, first of all, they're not over the ear, they're on the ear and not well maintained in many cases. And so I wanted my own personal one that I could connect to their system. And so far, I haven't found any that work well for me, because they're also changing the frequency of the system to megahertz now from kilohertz. And so you need a variable system to cover all the ranges. Do you know any, do you have any information about that?
I don't. I didn't even know that you could do that. Tony or Nancy, do you know anything about that?
I'm sorry, I have trouble hearing.
Okay.
Well,
I think I can speak to that. One of the things in movie theaters is that they want to control all of the equipment. They don't want people bringing in outside equipment. If you have an iPhone, there might be a setting that you might be able to use. When you can go back to the theater, I would talk to one of the managers or maybe a projectionist and see if they have any ideas. There are two companies that are providing all the audio equipment now, and that's Dolby. And the other one is, it used to be called Ultrastar, but I think it's called QVS. That's an infrared. But you would have to buy it through a commercial company. So, but they might be able to tell you something that is similar for consumers. They don't know much about it, and I agree with you about having your own personal equipment. But because of all kinds of piracy issues and changing over to digital, there were, a lot of changes. So each theater picked a specific system to work in their theaters. If you use a telecoil up here, in Santa Monica, ArcLight has looped several auditoriums, but I don't know about down south. But I would ask the manager or the projectionist or somebody who knows something about the sound system and see if they have any solutions for you. At least I'd be able to direct you to the right person.
I found only one theater that's very responsive in the Grand Theater in Tacoma. I'm in Seaside, California. Most of them sort of say, well, we just don't want to comply in subtle ways. And so I haven't found a lot of responsiveness from some of the theaters. I usually like the small theaters that show better films that I like.
Right.
And that's a difficult, because they're still working with the 97.5 headsets, which don't have quite the quality as the megahertz. And that's quite an investment for them. But no, can you share my email address so that I could get information? Or I could type it in the chat. I'll type it in the chat for you, Nancy.
Okay, and then if you would send me an email with your specific requirements and what you're looking for, I'll call Dolby and I will call the other company and see if they have any idea. And yes, like Landmark is a theater that's a bigger independent, but yeah, it's more like an independent theater. So I know exactly what you're talking about in terms of, it's not an AMC, it's not a Regal.
Nancy, would you introduce yourself, please?
Oh, I'm Nancy Lake Ellis, and I am now back on the California board. I actually started the Open Caption Movie Program in 1993. So I've worked with movie theaters, studios, and manufacturers since then in bringing captions into movie theaters and then working with them to develop equipment to use when they switched to digital, which was a very long, painful process. So, all theaters are supposed to be digital. Some of the little independents haven't been able to afford. It's about $1 million to do an upgrade in a theater to go to digital. It's a much easier, much more secure system. But the little guys just aren't able to do it. So that's one of the questions I would have to ask them as it would relate to the, the megahertz and the kilohertz you're talking about. So if you give me that specific information, I can go back and see what I can find out for you.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I'm working with the Grand Theater in Tacoma. They have open caption and closed caption. In fact, they have a Wednesday night where they just have closed caption on all the movies, because the movies are now sent not with film, but through digital.
That's,
And they have the ability to do open caption, closed caption, and a variety of things, because they all come with those formats, which is pretty interesting. I'm more interested in a device where I could listen to some of the smaller theaters through their system, so that I have a tuner that hangs around my chest, which didn't work, hung around my chest, and it connects to the over the ear headsets that I have, but it hasn't worked very well. And I'm more interested if there's some information on ones that work quite well, as opposed to what I've invested in already.
now, in the Grand Theater, are they using headsets, or are they using, do you know if it's an FM system or an infrared, or?
They've gone to the megahertz system. I think it's a 2.3 to 3.3 megahertz.
Okay.
And which has a lot better fidelity than the 97.5 kilohertz.
Right.
So I'm, fairly knowledgeable in that, and I've received a lot of information on them, but I haven't found a system that works well to connect an individual system that I would be wearing.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
I wanted to mention that if you are local in San Luis Obispo, there are 2 theaters that have captioning ability. One is the Morro Bay Theater, and what they have, actually there's 3 now. They have a little screen that you set in your drink cup, and it captions the movie. And also the downtown center has those. And then down at the Galaxy in Arroyo Grande, the theater down there has the Sony glasses that has captioning on the bottom of the glasses. So there are a couple of movie theaters in San Luis Obispo that have that. The thing that sits in the drink cup holder, sometimes those don't work, and I've had to run out in the middle of the movie to get them to work for me. They don't check the batteries on a regular basis or whatever. But it's better than not being able to see a movie at all. I've just about given up on movies. I mean,
We have 2
I've actually
theaters here
used
in Southern California that do open caption nights. If they're on a Monday night, but we can, they publicize their movies, and we can go in and we don't have to use a device because the captions are on the screen for everybody. I actually had an experience where I went to our, it was a Harry Potter, one of the Harry Potter movies, and it was a live orchestra doing the music and with the soundtrack. And I wrote to what's the name of the one in South Coast, whatever it was. I wrote to them.
Edwards.
No, it's
Regal, but it's Edwards.
No, the great big one, the live theater one.
Oh, you mean Segerstrom?
Segerstrom, yes. So there were we're talking musical theater. I wrote to them and I said, is there a way that you can do captioning for this? I figured they would have the little screen down at the bottom and we would have to sit close. Because of me and my grandson, because I took Connor, my hard of hearing grandson, they did open caption for the entire movie, for the entire auditorium. It was fantastic. And I knew that people besides me and Connor were using them because people would laugh. The caption, the words would show up, people would laugh, and then there would be the action on the screen, and I could just tell people were using the captions. So it was fantastic. I love
I want to add something to that, Katie. First of all, every movie theater has to provide captions
Right.
and audio description. That's the law. How they provide them is basically up to the chain. Segerstrom, like many theaters up north, will, like if you have something called Broadway Across America, where you see a movie, a theater, a play like a Harry Potter or a Hamilton, usually they have at least one performance, usually the last Saturday matinee of the run. Let's say it runs for 6 weeks, and they have open captions. And usually the prices are half of what a regular theater price is. So they all have programs like this now. So if you're interested in finding out about open caption movie, live theater, just let Katie know and we'll get the information to you.
You guys are probably all pretty far from where live theater might be, but you might have little local groups that are doing something with that. All right, anybody have any other questions for me? Or questions about what you're going through right now that I might be able to help with?
Yeah, I wanted to see if anybody had a funny story or an unusual experience with mask wearing. If anybody has found any tricks or has some funny story to share.
By law, you are allowed to not wear a mask, which I think is ridiculous because of your hearing loss. And a person who is communicating with you is legally allowed to take their mask off when they talk to you, which I also think is ridiculous. But every time I go and order, we take out food frequently, here, not only because we like to, but we're supporting our local, restaurants. But I would say 8 times out of 10, the order is wrong because when I give them the order and they recite it back to me for confirmation, we're both mishearing what's being said. So it's, one of those things you get home and it's like, okay, well, this is a pandemic moment and we'll just let it go.
I like that pandemic moment.
Yes. We're having many of them. Oh, yes.
Yes, we are.
I make one comment here, if I may. A little off the subject, but not too much. On masks, I don't know if everybody's aware of it, but Target has masks. They sell them in a 2-pack, and the 2-pack is $4. It's a pretty decent mask. And if you're like me, I get the mask on and I talk a little bit or whatever, and it starts to rub on my nose. The skin is pretty thin there, and it gets very irritating. So I run around trying to find different masks that work. And of course, you can buy them for a couple, $3 a piece, or you can buy them for $15 or $20 a piece. Just anyway, if you're in Target sometime, why check out the masks there, and it's for $4. You can take it home, and if you don't like it, why you're not out too much, but they're decent quality.
Does anybody use a face shield?
I have one. I haven't used it yet because I wanted to try it out and I bought a real cheap one. So the plastic kind of distorts what I see.
Okay.
But I've seen some better ones out there that have really, you can see really, really clearly. So if you're going to buy one of the face shields, I would recommend you go with a pretty good one, because you want the plastic to be as clear as it can
Okay,
be.
that's good. That's a good point.
Does anybody else have any questions, comments?
I have another comment. I'm a chatty Cathy this morning. Does everybody like the Zoom experience? Do you think you would get more members or interested people involved if they learned how easy it was to Zoom? Especially not having to drive.
I think it's been quite successful.
You know what I can do? I can show you how our Zoom meetings usually go. Because usually we don't use the PowerPoint captions on the bottom. But you could have a blank screen on the PowerPoint and then have your captions. But you want me to show you what we usually do with live transcribe? I can do it at our next meeting. When you guys have another meeting, I can show you. If you have an Android phone, you can use an app called Live Transcribe. Are you familiar with that? Anybody familiar with Live Transcribe?
No.
Because who has an Android phone? Raise your hand if you have an Android phone.
I do.
Do you?
I have an Android phone, and
Everybody else is, okay.
I have that app as well, and I found it very useful.
Very.
A message on my message machine, and then they talk real fast. I've got the Panasonic machine, and you can slow the sound down, and that can be very helpful. But also, I can take my cell phone and put it close to the answering machine and turn it on, and it will give me captions for the message, and it works pretty well. There's probably other uses for it too, but check it out and see how it works for you. I'm very pleased.
Noni, that's really good news that he has an Android and knows how to use Live Transcribe, because that means that you could have meetings and have your Live Transcribe on a shared screen. You know, I'm gonna show it to you. Can you bear with me? All of you bear with me for a minute? And let me show you. Share screen, share my screen. Go to Live Transcribe. Here's Live Transcribe. So here we have, here on my phone, I have
I
Live
don't see it.
Transcribe on my phone, and I'm on Zoom on my phone. I'm on Zoom on my computer. I'm also on Zoom on my Android, and I'm sharing the Android screen. So I am able to use Live Transcribe to caption a meeting. You can do this when you're talking with friends, or you're talking with family, or you're having a chapter meeting, just let's get together and talk kind of meeting. So you can see that what is showing up on your shared screen is also what's on my phone.
That is so much better than the closed caption phone, the landline phone, because there's this lag time between what is said and what gets transcribed by a real live person.
I really, oh, did you hear that? Darn it, I should have had somebody's at my door. Oh, well, I don't know how to get rid of that thing down there on the bottom. I don't know why this is down there. It usually isn't down there. Who knows? Technology. But this, I really like Live Transcribe. I'm an iPhone person, and what I did is I went and bought I bought an inexpensive Android. I got it on Amazon. It was like anywhere from $50 to $70. I don't have it hooked up to my carrier. I only use it for Live Transcribe. And I actually have it sitting in a little stand next to my computer, and it's transcribing everything. So
And how
if
does
you're
that,
an iPhone person, you could get an Android and do it that way.
how do you do that? Is it working off your Wi-Fi?
Mhm.
Okay.
Just working. So I can't take it to the store with me, and I can't take it to the bank with me, but I can use it here at home. It's working on Wi-Fi.
But do you use Otter on your iPhone?
I don't use Otter. I don't like Otter because Otter's font is too small.
Oh, okay, that's the mail.
We could do a whole thing on the different
That's
kinds of,
good.
the different,
That's good.
I think your captioning size is adjustable on that app too. So if it's too big or too small, you can adjust it.
it is.
Yeah.
You can also do view options. If you go up to the top of your screen and do view options, it will change the size of your own personal. It doesn't change it for anybody else. It just changes it for you. Up at the top on view options.
I just got a new phone, and I've got my old phone, which works just fine, and it has the app on it. I never thought about checking that out. I can use that just for what you're using it for, to record from the TV or whatever. I'll play around with that. It's good. It's good information.
I haven't found, I tried to use it with my TV and it wasn't close enough, so it didn't really pick it up. I was disappointed. I thought that would be great. However, I had a WebEx call 2 days ago, and there were no captions on it, and it was a phone call. I could see the person I was talking to on WebEx, was my financial advisor, and they were calling me on my phone, and it was muffled and I couldn't hear it. I took this, put it next to my iPhone, and it captioned my iPhone.
Yeah. Yeah, it's very good. As an app, it's very good at giving you the captions, and doesn't make as many errors as you find on TV.
Tony and Katie, we're getting close to 11 here. What I wanted to mention was we're due to have a meeting in September. I had already planned to be out of town, but if Katie and Tony are agreeable, I would like to see if they would arrange a Zoom meeting for, it would be September, bear with me. It would be September the 19th. So do you think we should proceed in that direction? And then if I can get back in time, I'll do the meeting just like we did today. Otherwise, it'll be Katie and Tony.
I could do that.
How's that sound?
HLAA California, your board is really committed to trying to help chapters get through this. We've heard these stories about, it was Washington, no, someplace, Oregon, who they just posted on an HLAA leaders list that their chapters are folding. They're just disappearing. And we're all upset about that. And we don't want this to happen. We want our chapters to stay vibrant. We want us to stay connected. And we're also working at ways to try to get younger people involved in all of this. I think the pandemic and the use of virtual meetings is going to help us get younger people involved, because they want to be able to come in, turn on their computer, sit and get some input, and then leave. They've got kids, they've got houses to clean, they've got, I think it's going to be the best thing for us. So we really are the board for HLAA California is really committed to using virtual meetings to re-energize us. So I'm more than happy to help in September.
Okay,
Maybe we can do the CTAP thing in September.
we'll give that a shot. Thank you, Katie and Tony, for putting forth this effort. I think it's been it's nice to see everybody again, of course, and hopefully this will be over sooner rather than later, and we'll all be able to get together. The Villages is willing to welcome us back with open arms once we can get over there. And as you know, the Villages is one of the few facilities, maybe the only facility in San Luis Obispo that's looped, and that's primarily thanks to Lou Fogo and her efforts. So that being said, I'm gonna sign off.
Thank you,
Thank you.
everybody. Thank you for listening.
Thank you.
Bye, Katie.
Bye.
Thank you very much.
Bye.